For more on all of this, we're joined by Lincoln Mitchell in New York. He's a research scholar at Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs. Lincoln, this by far has been the weirdest presidential debate season we've ever seen. The first debate, obviously chaotic. One candidate got the virus, the second debate scrapped, and then last night we had a mute button. So broadly, talk about just how strange this has all been and give us your takeaways from last night.
Well, in terms of how strange this has, of course, been very strange. And that mute button you mentioned, one of the things it did is it made Donald Trump seem a little less erratic and a little less out of control to the American people because he was muted and you didn't hear him all the time. So the mute button, which the Trump campaign didn't like because it is kind of insulting to say, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you got to shut up now," but it actually helped the president because it helped him present better. The takeaways, I mean, and Trump debated better last night. He focused on issues more. The attacks he made on Biden were kind of strange because unless you're in that kind of right-wing information bubble, you don't know what he was talking about. But for me, the main takeaway is that Biden's goal in that debate was that by Sunday morning, we're talking about something else. Trump needed to shake things up. He needed to get a real victory last night. And I think at best for Trump, it was a draw. And since Biden is ahead in the polls, a draw is a win for Biden. So my takeaway is, one, Trump didn't do exactly what he needed to do, although he did better, and Biden did good enough. One thing Biden did that was very important was this attack that Biden is senile or too old or out of it or doesn't have the energy. The Trump campaign has given that up. We've seen two debates, and it's clear that Biden is up to the job. Whether or not people vote for him, that's a different story. But he's not too old or senile or anything like that.
And Lincoln, I remember years ago the famous debate exchange where Senator Lloyd Bentsen said to Dan Quayle, "I know Jack Kennedy, I know him, he was a friend of mine, you're no Jack Kennedy." And each candidate always wants that zinger that they land, that people talk about afterwards. Did you see any of those last night?
Absolutely not. And that was a win for Biden. Trump needed that zinger. He tried it. You're just a politician. But the problem is, America wants a politician right now. We want someone, American people want someone who understands how government works and can use that understanding to help solve this major public health crisis. One of the reasons that we have handled coronavirus so badly, and Donald Trump is right that it's a worldwide crisis, although very few advanced wealthy countries have as many deaths per capita as we do, but that is a failure of governance, and that failure of governance starts at the top. So to say, I'm an outsider, I'm not a politician, 4 years ago, that worked. Joe Biden is obviously an insider, obviously a career politician. But I think the American people are warming up to that idea, and that's certainly what the polling data seems to suggest.
And debates are seen as an opportunity to move the undecideds, but this year seems different. According to the U.S. Elections Project, more than 52 million people have already voted, so it's more an election season. A large number of these voters already made up their minds. They already voted even before they were trading barbs last night. So has the importance of these debates lessened in this era of COVID?
Absolutely. This debate was not very important for a couple of reasons. One, almost a third of the people who will vote, maybe about a third, have already voted. I've already voted, for example. The other thing is that debates don't draw in undecided voters. Undecided voters, particularly as you get very late in the game, tend to be low information voters, the kind of people who would rather watch a sitcom or something on Netflix or the football game last night than a presidential debate. So this is just for the insiders, the people who already have a side, which is the majority of Americans. The other issue is not just COVID, it's technology. Debates evolved in America out of a time when you didn't get to see that much of the presidential candidates. There was 3 networks broadcasting the news at night, and you weren't flooded all day. There was no such thing as YouTube or Twitter. So you actually didn't see video. You didn't get a sense of who these people were. Well, that we don't need anymore. We know who these people are. There's no one watching last night who was saying, I never really thought about Joe Biden before, or this Trump character seems a little weird. Everyone knows who these guys are. That's the technological era in which we live now.